A year later and nothing has changed. I still feel all alone. I still don't know who I can trust. I carry gingerbread cookies with me everywhere. I even keep a box under my pillow. We've moved 2 hours away from where we used to live because Mommy and Daddy thought it would help me cope with Grandma's death easier. They send me to a psychiatrist once a week too, but it hasn't helped. She's just like everyone else. She doesn't believe me either. That's all I want, is for just one person to believe me when I tell them what happened to Grandma. The police have come to the conclusion that someone broke in that day and killed her, but they have no proof. I'm the only witness, and there were no signs of forced entry and nothing was stolen. They've questioned me numerous times, and I've tried again and again to tell them the truth. They think I was in shock at the time, which yeah, I was, but I know what I saw. I pray every night that he, she, it, whatever it has become, isn't going to come back to kill me. Abby, sweetheart, are you brushing your teeth? You know you have to get up bright and early tomorrow, Mommy hollers down the hall from her bedroom. Tomorrow is my first day at my new school, and I'm dreading it. I've been homeschooled for the last year, and although I didn't enjoy it, I felt somewhat safe knowing that if the changeling was coming for me, at least I knew it was my teacher or one of my parents. But going back to public school, I'll be around so many people. Whenever I make a new friend, if I make any friends at all, I'll be worried to death wondering who they truly are. I spin into the sink, peek my head around the doorway, and shout back down the hallway, "Yes, Mommy, I'm almost done." I brush for another 15 seconds, then rinse my toothbrush and my mouth out. Then I stroll down the hall to Mommy and Daddy's room to say goodnight. "Where's Daddy?" I ask when I walk into their room and see only Mommy sitting in the bed reading her book. She points across the room to their walk-in closet. I hop up onto the bed and kiss Mommy gently on the cheek. When she grabs me and squeezes me tightly, I freeze. Her grip is a little tighter than usual. I've become a master at noticing these types of things. Anytime my parents act even the slightest bit differently than normal, it puts me on high alert. Now I'm going to have a hard time sleeping tonight wondering if this is really Mommy or not, and is she going to sneak into my room tonight to try to hurt me? She senses me tensing up. "Is everything alright, sweetie?" I stare right into her eyes. A sense of relief washes over me when she doesn't look away. I've been doing some research on the computer when Mommy and Daddy are away at work. My babysitter Julie doesn't pay much attention to what I'm doing most of the time. I found out that changelings feed off of human emotions, but they don't like to show any of their own. They also can't bear to look a human in the eyes. For some reason, it disgusts them. I sit down in between Mommy's legs and cuddle with her. "I'm scared. I don't want to go to school tomorrow." She hugs me again. "Oh, honey, everything will be fine. I'm sure you'll love it there. The teachers are nice and you'll get the chance to make some friends. What if no one wants to be my friend? Are you kidding? Why wouldn't they? You're the sweetest person I've ever met." I smile, then tell her goodnight and head over to the closet to see Daddy. "What you doing?" I ask. He's grabbing suits and shoes from hangers and shelves and neatly placing them into his suitcase lying on the floor. I have to go away for a few days for work. My heart sinks. I always feel safer when Daddy is around. I know the changeling could change into him too, but for some reason, I don't think it would. I would know right away if it did. Daddy heads over to the shelf where all of his ties are and picks out a few. Just as he's about to put them into his suitcase, he stops and second-guesses his decision. "What do you think?" he questions, holding up 2 different ties. I point to the navy blue and white striped one. "Good choice," he answers and tosses it into his bag. Then he kneels down and holds out his arms. I run into them. He scoops me up and begins to give me 100 kisses. I giggle and hold on to him tightly. Yup, I would definitely know if the changeling took over Daddy's body. He puts me back down, then rests his hands on both of my shoulders. "I'll already be gone when you wake up in the morning, but I just wanted to say, have an amazing first day at school tomorrow, and I love you." He gives me one last kiss and hug, then walks me to my room and tucks me into bed. I have a dream about Grandma that night. She's trying to tell me something, but I can't hear her. She keeps pointing off into the distance and saying the same thing over and over. I think she may be trying to warn me. When Mommy wakes me the next morning, Daddy has already left. I get up and eat breakfast and brush my teeth and wash my face. As I'm getting dressed, my heart starts beating out of my chest. I lift my hand to my mouth and begin to bite my nails, but there's nothing left to chew. They're already nubs. Mommy walks in. Are you ready? You don't want to be late on your first day. I put on my shoes while Mommy quickly brushes my hair. Then I grab my backpack and jacket from my bedpost on my way out the door. When we pull up in front of the school, the parking lot is full of kids getting off of buses or being dropped off by their parents. I say goodbye to Mommy, then get out of the car and head inside. The halls are crowded with teachers greeting students and kids greeting their friends. I glance down at the piece of paper in my hand. Mommy wrote down the name of my teacher and directions to her classroom for me so that I wouldn't forget. I walk all the way to the end of the main hall, then make a left, and the third door down on the right is Miss Thatcher's classroom. As I approach the room, I spot another little girl who looks about the same age as me standing outside the door all alone. The closer I get, I can see the expression on her face more clearly. She looks exactly how I'm feeling, scared. I walk up to her with caution and introduce myself. Hi, I'm Abby. What's your name? She continues to stand there with her legs crossed, staring straight down at the ground. Shayla, she whispers. Just then, Miss Thatcher opens the door and steps outside into the hallway. I already met her once, before I started school, when me and my parents came to the school for open house. We got to meet the principal and my teacher, and we were given a tour of the school. Welcome, girls. Come on inside and find a seat, she tells us as she ushers us into the room just as the bell rings. There are only a handful of students already here, so I search for a desk near the front of the classroom and am just about to sit down when I notice Shayla heading for a desk at the back, so I follow her instead. I'm not sure, but she seems to be a newcomer just like me, so she may be my only hope at making a new friend. Plus, I'd rather have my pick at who I want to be friends with. That way, the less likely it is that they could be the changeling. Changelings seek a person out, so no matter what, when they're looking for you, they'll find a way to locate you. I slide into the desk next to Shayla and begin to put my supplies inside. Miss Thatcher walks into the classroom, followed by a mob of kids just as the bell stops ringing. She walks to the front of the room, grabs a book from her desk, and then begins to call out names. When she announces the name, Shayla McIntyre, the shy little girl sitting next to me raises her hand. Miss Thatcher finishes reading off the rest of the names of the kids in class, then passes out name tags where she wrote each one of our names in cursive. I peel off the sticky backing and attach it to the top of my desk like she instructed us to do. Then she passes out some workbooks and other materials that we'll be using this year, and I store them in my desk. Next, she tells us to choose a partner for an activity called Get to Know Your Neighbor. Immediately, I look over at Shayla. Would you like to be partners? She thinks about it for a second, then glances around the room at everyone else who has already found a partner. Sure, she whispers. Once everyone has someone to work with, Miss Thatcher hands out a worksheet with 10 questions that we need to ask each other and answer. Things like, what is your partner's name, their favorite color, and their favorite subject in school? I write down Shayla as the answer to question number 1 since I already know her name. Your name's Shayla, right? She nods her head. Do you remember my name? She writes something down on her paper, then lifts it to show me. It says Abby. Yeah, that's right, I tell her with a smile. I read question number 2 aloud. What is your partner's favorite snack? I don't even have to think about it. I love gingerbread cookies, I blurt out. She writes it down, then says in a voice as quiet as a mouse's, I like those too, but my favorite snack is donuts with chocolate icing and sprinkles. I write that down as I think to myself, she's finally starting to get a little friendlier. Why don't you read the next question, I tell her. Okay, who is your partner's best friend? Instantly, Grandma comes to mind, but I know if I even say her name out loud, I'll be in a sad mood for the rest of the day. The only other person, or should I say thing, that I could call my best friend is my teddy bear Honey, but I don't want to sound like a loser or a baby. Instead, I wait for Shayla to answer. I don't really have a best friend. I don't have any friends. I just moved here a few months ago. I don't have one either, I tell her, hoping it'll make her feel better. I moved here a year ago, but I was homeschooled before this. So I guess we can just leave this question blank. But just as I'm about to read the next one, she says, "Well, what if I write down your name as my best friend and you can write down mine?" "Okay," I quickly agree. And that was the start of a great friendship. Shayla and I really did become best friends. We do almost everything together. I wish Grandma could have met her. I know she would have liked her. 8 months later, and it's nearing the end of the school year already. The changeling has been the furthest thing from my mind. I haven't thought about it in months because I've been so busy with school and hanging out with Shayla. She's been gone for the past week. Her family went away on vacation to the Bahamas. She'll be back at school today, and I can't wait to see her. But that morning, when I get to class, I'm surprised to see that she isn't there. Half the day goes by, and I start to think maybe their flight was canceled, or they missed it, or maybe she was just too tired to return to school today. I expect to see her tomorrow. But then she shows up around lunchtime, and she's acting strange, different. She walks into the classroom right in the middle of Miss Thatcher teaching science class. "Welcome back, Shayla, have a seat." But instead of Shayla walking to the back of the class and sitting at her desk next to me, she slides into the first empty seat that she sees. Miss Thatcher doesn't seem to mind. She continues to teach the lesson. But I'm so distracted that I can't even concentrate on anything else that's going on around me. My eyes stay glued to Shayla as a million thoughts race through my mind. Could it be? Could she be? No, I can't even say it. I won't say it. The rest of the day, she remains seated at that desk in the front of the classroom. The bell rings at 3 p.m., signaling that the day is over, so I put my things away and head for the door. Shayla's waiting outside for me. "Hey, how was your vacation?" I ask, trying to sound like nothing is wrong. "It was great. I had such a good time. I brought you back something, but I forgot it at home. Can you come over?" "I don't know. Julie's picking me up today since Mommy and Daddy are working late," I say. My mom and dad always work late on Thursdays, but Shayla already knows that. "Oh yeah, I forgot today was Thursday. Maybe Julie can bring you by just to pick up the souvenir I got for you." "Maybe, I'll ask her." "Hey, why'd you sit at the front of the class today?" "I haven't been feeling too good since we got off the plane, so I wanted to be close to the trash can in case I got sick." "Well, why didn't you just stay home if you weren't feeling good?" "My parents didn't want me to miss any more school than I already have." As we make our way to the main entrance, I think to myself, it makes sense, and maybe she did just forget that today was Thursday. We say goodbye, and Shayla hops on the bus while I wait for Julie to come pick me up. While I'm standing there waiting, I think about how weird Shayla was acting today. Like I said before, I'd forgotten all about the changeling until today. Everything just came back to me. Now I don't know what to do. I have to think of something, a way to test her. That way I'll know for sure. But I can't just offer her gingerbread cookies. That's too obvious. Just as Julie arrives, I get the perfect idea. As soon as we pull up in front of my house, I rush inside and cut the computer on. When I find what I'm looking for, I leave the page open and work on my homework until Mommy gets home. As soon as she gets in the door, I grab her by the hand and drag her over to the computer. "Mommy, can you please help me make these?" She takes a look at the screen. "Why don't we make them this weekend, sweetie? I'm really tired." "No, I want to make them tonight," I argue. Finally, she agrees to help me, so after dinner we get all of the ingredients together. Once the donuts are finished baking, she pulls them out of the oven and sits them on the cooling rack. Then she dips them into the chocolate icing and I scatter sprinkles on them. When they're done cooling off, I eat one for dessert and then place 2 more of them into a plastic container for lunch tomorrow. I hope this works, I think to myself that night before I go to bed. The next morning, I head to school, making sure not to forget to pack the donuts with my lunch. Today, Shayla sits next to me at her desk, and it seems like she's back to her old self again. The thought crosses my mind that maybe I shouldn't even give her the donut today, but I just have to be sure. And I brought something for backup just in case. Right before lunch, she asks me, "What happened yesterday? I thought you were coming over." "Oh yeah, Julie had to go to the grocery store for my mom, so she didn't have time to bring me." "Well, can you come over today? I told you I have something for you that I brought back from vacation. And I found something that I want to show you." "What?" I ask, curious. "A secret hideout in the woods behind my house." A shiver runs down my spine. I'll ask my mom later today, I tell her. But I have no plans on asking to go over there. I've been to her house 1,000 times, and we've played in every inch of those woods behind her house, and we've never come across a secret hideout before. After that comment, I know I have to give her the donut. So that afternoon at lunch, I pull the plastic container out of my lunchbox, remove the lid, and offer Shayla a donut. Me and my mom made these last night. I brought one for you. I know they're your favorite. No thanks. It smells funny, she tells me as she pinches her nose closed. My heart catches in my throat. I drop my donut back into the container and turn to look at her. I know that she must be talking about the ginger scent of the donut. I know it's you. I've looked you up and I know all of your weaknesses. She continues to pick at her lunch, staring straight ahead. So I reach back into my lunchbox and pull out my tiny spray bottle. Then I aim it directly at Shayla and press the trigger, squirting her 3 times. She drops her sandwich and leaps up onto the table on all fours, hissing and moaning. Everyone in the cafeteria stops to look at us. I spray her right in the face with the ginger ale from my spray bottle, and she lunges out of the cafeteria, pushing her way past kids, knocking them down and making a horrendous screech like she's in pain. I chase after her, my fingers still on the trigger of the spray bottle. "You'll never be able to kill me," I shout angrily at it. It makes its way down the hall and down a flight of stairs into the school's basement. I stop at the top of the stairs when I see nothing but darkness. Once it disappears into the darkness, it angrily shouts at me, "You can't keep your guard up forever. I'll wait even longer until the next time your guard is down." I can hear it down there, grunting and groaning between each word. Then at that moment, I'll ease my way in slowly to the point where you won't be able to tell me apart from any of your loved ones, and I'm going to make your life a living hell for what you've done. I spray the ginger ale down the stairs a few more times before I hear a hissing moan and the sound of glass breaking. Then I think to myself, I beat it this time, but now I know for sure it's really coming for me and it won't stop. And if that wasn't my friend Shayla, then what did it do to her? Don't forget to subscribe for new stories weekly. See you next time on
Nina's Nightmares.
Really? You're supposed to click the like button, not me. Ugh.